This presentation describes the evolution of engineering education in South Africa, the impact of an unprecedented educational transition caused by a recent change in national policy and the education standards developed by EXAF. So it's really important for us to start with some history. If we don't know where we come from, we won't know where we go to. So it was only in 1968, coincidentally, the year that I was born. So that's exactly about 55 years ago, that the Professional Engineering Act governing the professional registration of engineers was promulgated in South Africa. The formal recognition of other members of the engineering team associate qualifications, in particular technicians and technologists, began only after recommendations of the Committee of Inquiry into the Training, Use and Status of Engineering Technicians in the Republic of South Africa, commonly known as the Good Report, after the chairman of the committee, Mr. R.C.J. Good, and that was only published in 1978, so 10 years after the original act was promulgated. Now, the Good Report is really a very, very important report. It's a watershed report, and we would not have this meeting today, and even iPad would not exist if it was not for this report. So this report, the Good Report, resulted in at least 4 watershed changes to technical training in South Africa. Number 1 was the expansion of the engineering team to include engineering technologists, such that a complete engineering team comprises artisans, engineering technicians, engineering technologists, and professional engineers. Number 2, it led to the introduction of a formal qualification for technologists to provide the training needed for this new engineering category. So this is where it all started. The amendment of Act 81 of 1968 was also put forward to create the registered technician and professional technologist registration categories. The fourth and last recommendation that came out of the Good Report was the endorsement of a sandwich approach to training, where 50% of the training took place in industry in the form of work integrated learning, resulting in workplace-based learning that became the hallmark of the then colleges for advanced technical education, which became technicons and eventually UOTs. So there's a lot that we can thank the Good Report for. International recognition was only attained later in 1999, when the Engineering Council of South Africa became a co-signatory to the Washington Accord for Engineers, and later a founding co-signatory to the Sydney and Dublin Accords. These initiatives eased the mobility of engineering practitioners and the recognition of qualifications in co-signatory countries. It's also prudent now to speak about the HEQSF. Although the adoption of the recommendations of the Good Report created a stable environment for the training of the engineering team in the Southern African environment, in December 2012, the Minister of Higher Education and Training approved a revised Higher Education Qualifications sub-framework published in the Government Gazette number 36/003, which created a disruptive influence on the qualifications offered by universities of technology, international comparability, and industry expectations. One of the disruptions was the change to the Bachelor of Technology and changing that into an advanced diploma and so on. So let's just quickly look at the historical qualifications engineering faculties at UOTs were allowed to offer, and the new qualification types faculties at UOTs may offer under the new HEQSF. It's also important to note that the historical qualifications links linked to the SAQA Act, the old SAQA Act, which only had 8 levels. At level 5, it was the national certificate. At level 6, it was the national diploma. At level 7, was the Bachelor of Technology, which was at the same level as the Bachelor of Engineering at traditional universities. And then at level 8 and 8 was were the Master of Technology and the Doctor of Technology. Under the new NQF Act that were promulgated, you will see that there are now 10 levels, and the national certificate was replaced by the higher certificate, the advanced certificate, and the diploma at level 6, 5, and 6. At level 7, we have the advanced diploma or the Bachelor of Engineering Technology. Both of these qualifications are at level 7. At level 8, we have the Bachelor of Engineering, and yes, UOTs with a good motivation are now allowed to also offer the Bachelor of Engineering if they really want to, the Postgraduate Diploma in Engineering, and the Bachelor of Engineering Technology Honours. All of these are at level 8. And then at level 9, we have the Master of Engineering, and then at level 10, the PhD or the Doctor of Engineering. So we've now referred to the new NQF or the NQF. The National Qualifications Framework has 10 levels, and it's really important to note that each of there are 3 sub-frameworks within the NQF. We have the General and Further Education and Training Qualifications sub-framework, the GFETQSF, which is developed and managed by Umalusi. The Higher Education Qualifications sub-framework, which is developed and managed by the Council on Higher Education. But we also have, very importantly, the Trades and Occupations Qualifications sub-framework, commonly known as Occupational Qualifications sub-framework, the OQSF, and that is developed and managed by the Quality Council for Trades and Occupations, the QCTO. So if we look at a graphical representation of this, then you will see that here in the middle we have our 10 levels. The OQSF actually spans all these levels up to level 10, although the development of qualifications at levels 7 to 10 are still pending. The GFTEQSF spans levels 1 to 4 with some discussions around level 5. And then the HCQSF spans levels 5 to 10. But I think it's also important to note that I do foresee that in the near future, EXO will also have to look at the OQSF. And since it spans levels 1 to 10, there might also be different standards that allow for graduates at those levels to register in the different categories.